There's a lot going on in the world of Magic the Gathering right now. One of the biggest names in the game, Channel Fireball, has fallen and been sold off to TCGplayer. On top of that, we're also going to talk about the Dominaria United legendary reveal that Wizards has done that leaves me feeling a little bit nervous.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The Magic Historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered to discuss some very momentous news. This Channel Fireball situation is actually massive, and it is a sign of what is going on with Magic the Gathering right now. I know some of you feel like I have been talking a lot about what's going on wrong with the game, and the reason for that is because we are in a pretty bad spot. The Channel Fireball situation helps to underline that because as of yesterday, they have been sold to TCGplayer. So, if you didn't already know, since we're talking about TCGplayer, I do have a TCGplayer link down in the description, and if you use that when you're shopping for your cards online, it does help this guy and this channel, alright? So, what led to all this? How did we go from Channel Fireball being this massive, recognizable name, a leader in the industry, turning to the point where they had to sell themselves to somebody else? They went from being one of the biggest titans in the Magic industry to kind of shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until they basically disappeared into non-existence and got sold off. So how does this happen? Well, Channel Fireball is essentially a victim of circumstance, really. If you look at the niche that they originally sort of took place, they were kind of the guys you would go to for all of your competitive needs overall. Yeah, there's other places you go to, but really, Channel Fireball had that competitive vibe to it. People would tell me, yo, I watch Channel Fireball for all this different strategy. We have the videos on the background while we're playing. I go and read the different articles they have going on. I pick up singles from them. So if you looked at their concept, it was actually really solid. It's like a one-stop shop. We're going to teach you about the strategy of the game. We'll tell you the deck lists. We'll show you how they're played. We'll let you know what's going on with the meta, and we'll sell you the tools to compete in that meta. And that is a solid business model. So, where did the wheels fall off? Well, Channel Fireball took a massive gamble, and both the world and Wizards of the Coast came together to sweep both of the legs out from Channel Fireball, and that's essentially what led to its downfall. Because before, they were big, beefy, strong boys to the point where they took on the mantle of the actual GPs, right? They basically made a deal with Wizards saying, yo, we're going to run the GPs for the next 3 years. The idea being that this would be a profitable endeavor over time for Channel Fireball. Time being a very key factor, right? So basically the idea was Channel Fireball is going to take on the Grand Prix. They're going to handle all these big Magic events. And once they get past year 2, that's when they start to make money. So it's a 3-year plan. The first 2 years are establish yourself. The third year is rake in that bank and start to move upwards, get back into the black. So what happens? Well, everybody knows what happened, right? The pandemic came along and went, oh, nice big events that you're having there. All kinds of money you've locked into venues and everything. Well, I've got news for you. None of that can happen. It's all shut down. So all of a sudden, you've got this organization that needs 2 years worth of profitable events along this timeline to even be okay. And now they don't have the opportunity to make all that money they needed to just to break even. So the third year is also going to be disaster times, right? So you've got that going on where the GPs have already kind of been outlawed by the world in a way. And then you also have Wizards of the Coast coming along going, you know what? We've looked at things and we've decided that Arena is actually going to be the key to the future. That is what's going to make our fortune. They made those videos, they will know your name, and they acted like Arena was where everybody was going to go for competitive Magic. And while doing that, they went ahead and started axing coverage. They went, you know what? Let's stop covering this more and more. You know what? We're not going to send people out to film these things. We're not going to send people out. What we're going to do is a couple of tweets. So they started covering it less and less with the hopes that people would turn to Arena and get all jacked up about Arena, but let's be real. They totally messed up the professional league for Arena, and they basically made it so that Arena will never be the top esport like they wanted to. But the damage is already done in the physical world of Magic on the competitive level, because Wizards has already said, nah, physical stuff doesn't matter to us. So you've already got Channel Fireball. They're going, oh man, come on, bro. We signed up to do these big events for you, and now you're turning around and doing us dirty like this? And Wizards of the Coast is like, nah, son, just wait. Just wait until you see what we have in store for you, my friends. Wait until we see what happens to you as a result of our choices. Because if you think that losing the competitive side of things was bad, now we're coming for your singles business too. Wizards of the Coast goes, you know what? Let's go secret layers. Now you can buy all the stuff direct from us. So, do you want to buy a Bitter Blossom from a place like Channel Fireball for $40? Or do you want to buy it from us for $40, where you get a limited, unique, special art version that's only available in this box set and comes with 4 tokens for the same price, right? So, basically, Wizards just comes in and goes, we are now harvesting from the secondary market. And this is a big problem for the traditional secondary market harvesters. And honestly, this is one of the big issues I have with the current state of Magic. And I don't think people see underneath what Wizards is doing is they're yanking up the roots of the giant oak tree that is Magic, thinking that we can do this all day, bro. But if you uproot it enough, you cause genuine problems. The secondary market prices are organic, or at least used to be, where they were built over a long period of time. Cards would come out, demand would gradually increase, price would gradually increase, and Wizards would put reprints out in a somewhat reasonable fashion. We had core sets that were just full of reprints, and then the reprints became fewer and fewer to the point where Wizards is like, we're only really going to do reprints in reprint sets, and they're going to cost 2 to 3 the amount of time, the 2 to 3 the normal cost, I should say, of a regular set, right? I mean, you have to work 2 or 3 times the amount of time if you're working on an hourly rate, so it's still kind of the same difference. But either way, Wizards is jacking up the price on these reprints, trying to keep reprint stuff super sky high, but they're not focusing on what actually creates a healthy secondary market, and that is continuing to pump singles that people want in as regular cards in regular releases. Look at Baldur's Gate, for example. That's not even like a full-on regular release, right? It's not a standard release, it's a step above. It's not a double Masters level release, but it is priced above a regular release, and they've barely put anything into it that people are going to actively seek afterwards. The dragons, maybe a little bit, but ultimately, Baldur's Gate is going to add nothing to the overall secondary market, the same way that Dragon's Maze has contributed virtually nothing to Magic over the entire sphere of time. Now, if this only happens once in a blue moon, it's not that big a deal, right? But if we have this compounding bam, 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 and Wizards dipping into the secondary market, then it all becomes artificial, right? The prices are only that way because Wizards is artificially holding them up by trying to make cards seem scarcer and essentially, create more scarcity too. Look at Imperial Recruiter. When they were asked, why is Imperial Recruiter reprinted at Mythic Rare? The answer was scarcity. They're literally like, bro, we're intentionally trying to manufacture scarcity. It wasn't that way before. Magic always had a certain level of scarcity based on the getting the booster boxes, keep cracking packs, and there's a certain level that I'm okay with. But they have moved way beyond that. So you see them pulling from the singles market, and this leaves Channel Fireball basically nowhere else to harvest money from. So they start to get a little more desperate. Things get uglier. All of a sudden, you've got big writers for Channel Fireball like LSV, who is one of the main draws for that website. Now his articles are being put behind paywalls. This is a big problem. Obviously, you understand from the business perspective, hey, we're not making as much money. We understand people want this. We're paying for this. We are paying him to write these articles. This is of value to you or whatever. So we're putting it behind a wall, hoping to get some money back out of it. But what that actually does is the opposite of the intended effect. Because there are some people who are still going to willingly go, yep, you know what? I value that. I'll pay for it. But you're going to lose a bunch of people coming by your website who are coming there for it. It's like a loss leader. You're paying to get people in the door. You read this article while you're here, check out some other stuff, maybe buy some singles. But you put that stuff behind a paywall, and what happens, because I've seen this before, people will stop going. They'll just go, oh, I have to pay to check that out. Well, there's no LSV to draw me back to this website, and therefore, within about a week, all forget that it exists. Like, when I saw the news that Channel Fireball had been sold, my brain went, oh yeah, Channel Fireball is still a thing, isn't it? The last time I talked about them, the news was so dire that I legitimately forgot they were an entity, right? So they basically lock the stuff behind a paywall. You have people already heading out as well. And they go, the writing is on the wall on this one, guys. We need to get out of the singles market. What do we do? And so they look around and go, well, TCGplayer seems to be doing it right. They've got a bunch of people under their umbrella. They collect a little bit of the money, and it's this big sort of whatever operation. Why don't we try and do a similar sort of thing? So they launched, like, I don't remember exactly what it was called. Maybe it was called like Channel Fireball Direct or something. But either way, the idea was you would be under the umbrella of Channel Fireball, and they would like, oh, you know, you use our name and recognition, people know to come here, and singles get sold out and whatever. But the problem you run into is the fact that they're trying to enter into a market that is already like saturated, right? Now Channel Fireball, you're trying to draw on people and compete with TCGplayer, but everybody already knows to go to TCGplayer. And the singles market is the most competitive it's ever been, right? Everybody is in the singles market now. It used to be just big name websites, right? You just had your Channel Fireball, you had your Star City Games, and in Canada we had stuff like 401 Face to Face, right? And that was it. But now you've got literally everybody. Becky and Johnny down the street are selling their cards. Every shop has its own online listings, pretty much. There are some LGSs that don't. But, you know, speaking in a rough sense, pretty much everybody's there. Everybody individually, everybody has a game store, and even Wizards of the Coast is full on in the singles market. So they say, you know what, we're just gonna go with the times. And then ultimately what happened, at least from my perspective, is they realized we're not making enough money with our endeavors. We will never be able to compete with TCGplayer, and this will never become big enough to replace what we've lost. There is the Hell Vault right there that I just slapped my hand into. So we'll never be able to replace what we lost here. So at this point, we may as well take what we can get. And they turned around and sold it to TCGplayer and are walking off with the cash. And honestly, I can't really blame them. What else are they supposed to do? They tried expanding out into Flesh and Blood and other games, and there's just not enough money, not enough market. Those games can bubble up, but they can't support a website like Channel Fireball, a full-on business, right? So it's sad to see that's the way things are going. Who knows who else is going to fall? Bear in mind that places like Star City Games have ditched their premium model for articles. They're not paying people the same to write articles and getting people to pay for it. And that's a really big indicator of the state of Magic. Things aren't as healthy as they seem on the surface. If you just listen to Wizards and you hear them trumpeting about the prices and how everything is banger, Magic sounds very healthy. But if you look under the hood and you see what's going on, we're in a bad position, my friends. I want things to get better, which is why I discuss this stuff. And I am doing more fun Magic-related stuff over on my Hatcher channel, goofing around. But anyways, speaking of the Hatcher channel, that's going to tie into the Dominaria United conversation. Let's move on to that. So, up on the screen, you're going to see an image. This is the Dominaria United Draft Booster Box Amazon posting, all right? It's a pretty standard fare posting. You'll see as well something circled there right down at the bottom. It says, one legendary creature card in every pack. Now, if you weren't around for the original Dominaria, they did that with the first Dominaria, and that's actually where they invented the Brawl format as well. So, this is nothing new. However, here's where I start to get nervous, right? The idea of them inserting a legendary card into every pack is fun in concept, but we have seen with abundant evidence that Wizards of the Coast isn't really good at creating special boosters, right? Set boosters are created in a way where there's all these different stages. I don't know if you guys know this, but when they originally announced set boosters, they said like, this is like the entryway, and this is the hallway, and this is the grand spectacle. They have different steps of the pack, and each of those different steps can be made in different ways. But the problem is, when Wizards tries to keep particular cards into particular locations, it opens up a lot more room for mistakes. And we've seen that Wizards cannot effectively collate sets. Take a look at the Baldur's Gate set, for example. They wanted to make sure, oh, it's Commander Legends, make sure it's got the legendary vibe and the backgrounds, and make sure everything's balanced out the way it's supposed to be. And what happened? We got a train wreck mess. I opened a bundle with so many duplicates in it that I literally started foaming at the mouth and raging out. It's over on my Hatcher channel if you want to have a chuckle listening to me go like maniacal, because at first I'm having a good time, but then more and more duplicates start showing up. It's 8 booster packs. I get 3 rares that are exactly the same, and I get 3 foil sky diamonds in one bundle. So we're looking at a situation where Wizards is going to do this legend stuff in the draft boosters. Draft boosters are probably the safest product to do it in because it's a little harder to screw those up, but that did happen with the Eldritch Moon as well, and that only had 1 card in the draft booster. Either way, what I'm trying to say is right now, Wizards of the Coast is not good at putting their sets together. We saw a bunch of Commander Legends boxes coming out with the Double Master stuff in it. We've had all kinds of issues, and now here they are with more tricksiness. So I'm just saying, I'm interested to see what Dominaria Unite is going to be, but I am very, very concerned that we're going to run into the same production issues that we had with Baldur's Gate, and that's part of what made Baldur's Gate such a terrible product. Baldur's Gate was poorly put together, wasn't a good set, and got crushed by Double Masters. Now we have Dominaria United right on the other side of Double Masters that's going to get threatened to be crushed by the prices, and if it can't deliver a good product, it's going to be really, really bad for the game, guys. If you think Baldur's Gate was bad, wait until you see what happens when that happens after Double Masters. We went from a terrible set into Hype Town, everything sounded like crazy, woo, 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 but we're going to go from that into Dominaria United, and if Wizards doesn't knock it out of the park, things are going to get very, very ugly. All right, link to my other channel. We're having a good time. Head on over if you want to have a laugh. Thanks for being here. Big shout out to my patrons, and I will see you all, my friends, in the next video.